All right, Luca Nation. Welcome back to Lucas Tigers and Bronzo, my episode 869 of your daily sports card content. Now we're a network, so we have Black Jaded Wolf Uncaged, tons and tons and tons of awesome comments from people there, really thoughtful comments as well. That shows a quickly becoming a hit where people are like, "This is a breath of fresh air," you know. And then we have the Cajun cardboard stuff. So,
you know what I love about that show? It brings out a different type of response from people, right? Because it's supposed to be like helping the community, helping collectors. At the end of it, I talked about this website, Instagram page that is like tracking shows, like a show calendar site. You know what I mean? Which would be helpful, I think, if everybody knew where shows were, when shows were, that kind of stuff. And it's a cool page. I got a DM from our pal Ziggy, showing me another one of those, like a show calendar site, the whole deal. So I mean, people are listening, and
you want to shout them out?
Trying to help. I just did. You want me to tell what the page is? Sure. I told them I would. I told them I would do it on the. I told them I would do it on the next episode of that show, because it's like more like card show, kind of content.
Trade nights is one.
Yeah, trade nights was what I mentioned. That was the one that I mentioned. This is called the Show Locator. So he sent over the Show Locator. It's I guess that's the Instagram page, and it talks about informing folks of upcoming and current shows. So I guess there's a few pages out there. Thanks for sharing, and the comments keep them coming. It's lots of fun. Yeah, man. A little soccer on today.
The hobby is a gift that keeps on giving, man. There is a new partnership, PWCC and SGC. There is the whole alt scandal over $30 going on. We have Ken Golden, I believe, starting today. He's going to be auctioning off the Aaron Judge 60-second home run ball. We've got Jeff Wilson, who just posted a pretty interesting trade that he did with.
Let's go through them all.
Sure.
Let's go through them all. Let's start with the Ken Golden one. I mean, listen, guys, it's newsworthy. We're not sponsored by Golden Auctions. We have a PWCC partnership. This is, hobby relevant, so much so that the Aaron Judge 60-second home run ball is not only being auctioned by Ken Golden and Golden Auctions. It started on the 29th. I believe it's already at like 1.15 million. I saw a cool post, like a tweet from Pat Neshek, former MLB player who's big into like autographs and memorabilia and that kind of stuff, that he bid on it, but he was outbid, and that he can say now, I bid over $1 million in Golden, and I'll get books from Golden forever, But
1.38 is where it's at with buyers right now.
Yeah, so so I expect it to be more, and we can talk about why in a second, but Andrew and I are going to be at the Philly show on this weekend, on Saturday. That ball is on display there. So one of the cool things, I'm going to be bringing Ian to the show in Philly. I mean, I'd like to get a picture with the ball. It doesn't have to come out of the case and behind, armed security and the whole deal, even just standing in front of, bulletproof glass or however they're going to have it displayed. But, it's a cool thing, we'll probably after this auction, we'll never be that close to, that cool piece of memorabilia ever again. We are Yankee fans. We watched the Judge chase. Yes, I did say sell Judge. But
you could be Yankee fans and also understand how markets work. But I have a few questions for you.
Yeah, shoot.
And we'll get into why you said what you just said, that you think it's going to go higher. Because my intuition actually said that the person who caught the ball is going to get a raw deal. So we'll go through that. Let's say someone caught Babe Ruth's,
Yes.
record ball. Mm-hmm. And that ball was signed by Babe Ruth. Would that devalue the ball?
If the ball was signed by Babe Ruth?
Yes.
I mean, I think it would increase the value of the ball now.
What about this ball? If this ball is signed by Aaron Judge, would that devalue this ball?
Maybe. There's obviously a difference between Aaron Judge's autograph and Babe Ruth's autograph.
Of course.
So I think that's part of what you're saying.
There's a difference between Aaron Judge's autograph today and how we view Babe Ruth's autograph today.
But so if I were the owner forward,
Aaron Judge could be, if we're talking about it in the same context. No,
not the value of the autograph. Aaron Judge's autograph ball will never be, just because, even though Babe Ruth was a huge star and autographed a lot of stuff, there's never going to be enough Babe Ruth autographs to go around for the demand for them. Whereas Aaron Judge probably signs thousands of balls every season. If I were the owner of this ball, I wouldn't get Aaron Judge to sign it, because the person who buys it, if they want to have Judge to sign it, they're spending $1 million, $2 million, $3 million for the ball. They can very easily spend a couple $100 and get Aaron Judge to sign, or a couple $1,000, probably get it for free, and message Aaron Judge, get it through the PR. Hey, we want you to sign this ball. It's your ball. We just bought it. Probably get it done for free and make a cool PR about it. I think signatures on balls like this, Root's a different story. You gave a great example, of one that would cut the other way. But I look at autographs on balls like this, historical baseballs that are now museum artifacts the way that they are, almost like buying a house with a pool. I remember, when I bought my house with the pool, the realtor said, that pools are one of those dividing things in houses. People either want one or they don't. And as a seller, it takes half of your market away. So, you buy a house, and if a person wants a pool, they can put the pool in. You know what I mean? If a person doesn't want a pool, great. They're half the market of buyers won't even look at this house because they're afraid of the pool, kids falling in, whatever the story is, right? So that's the way I look at the ball, especially with an item like this, right? A historic ball like that. Babe Ruth's, record ball, his 60th home run ball, you name it. I think there probably are people out there who would say they would rather have it without his autograph on it. Come see, come saw. I mean, Roots Auto is a different story. Why I think it's value. I got a lot of messages about the Judge Ball. Why? What's the greatness about it? What's the story about it? Pujols' balls doesn't sell for anywhere near that much, and that was only 4 people have ever done 700. So many people have broken this record, and this is one of those things where why I think it'll sell for more than it's at now. Definitely is it's the sports item of this year. You know what I mean? So it might not be the sports item of next year. And looking back on it, it might not be, over historical terms, the most valuable piece of baseball memorabilia out there, right? You want to compare it to something, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar ball that's on Collectible. That was the ball that he broke the scoring record with, all-time scoring. I'm sure when he broke that record, if that ball went on the auction block, it would have been a huge thing. Not the same as the single season home run record, you name it, but compare it to now where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not really in the news anymore. I mean, you see him every once in a while when they rerun the movie Airplane. But other than that, yeah, he's a pilot in the movie. Let me see him in Bruce Lee movies and that kind of stuff, but he's not talked about. It's not, you're not striking while the iron is hot on a record. Judge was the most talked about thing. He's a goofy looking dude who was just voted like the 4th sexiest man in the world. That's because he hit 62 home runs. People want Aaron Judge stuff now. He's going to be paid $300-something million to play baseball for the rest of his career. He is also a Yankee, which is, for better or for worse, for wins or for losses, the epicenter of the sports universe, right? The Yankees are the most popular franchise out there. He is their most popular player.
He got voted sexiest man in
I heard it on the radio this morning. It was something like
because he hit 62 home runs.
Well, because obviously he's in the public eye. You know what I mean? I think you're significantly sexier than him with this new haircut, and you look at swole too.
I don't understand. It's interesting how this stuff works. I listened to something by Charlie Munger yesterday, and this is his words, not
Empire
mine.
State Cards. Or the real Charlie.
Yeah, I talked to Shay and Empire. He said the world isn't the financial, this world that we're in isn't driven by greed, as we typically hear, like the quote from Wall Street. He actually said it's driven by envy. And it was interesting because in this scenario, someone might be buying this ball just because they don't want someone else to have it.
Definitely. 100%. And I'm pretty sure when it happened, one of the auction houses, was it Memory Lane or something? They offered like $2 million for the ball, right out of hand to own it. Like the owner of the company wanted it. So, I mean, if that's out there, I would imagine, think of all the other things you could do with this. And if I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of interesting stuff on this, all right? What better for a fractional platform, whether it's Rally or, is Otis? Hey, Otis! Is Otis still around? Or, anyone, hell, Alt, anybody who's taken lumps because everything went out high priced and the market has cratered and everything they took out is now in secondary and not having liquidity and they're easy targets. What if one of those platforms won this ball and specifically said, we're winning it, not bullshit line like, hey, I'm buying this mantle so I can share it with the world. What if they put it out at exactly what it costs them? Like there's no profit being made. They win the item, they win the ball, and they say, okay, it went for $2 million. We are going to put out shares of this ball at $20 a share, 100,000 shares. Anybody in the hobby or anybody in the world who wants to be a part owner of the Aaron Judge ball can own it. No profit margin, no nothing. It's a great publicity thing for their platform. It'll probably bring a whole bunch of users to the platform, whichever one of them does it.
Doing that, it would get rid of the objection of like, hey, your guys' valuations are inaccurate because they bought it on the open market,
right from the auction, exactly.
And they're not marking it up, they're not marking it up egregiously. They could add like 5% hypothetically.
Yeah, and no one's making money on it. It's not a liquidity event for anyone. Like all of the things that are there to take a shot at a fractional platform rather than pointing out, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but you asked me, why do I think that this is going to sell for more? Because there are so many entities out there that can benefit from having this as an asset, right? It's not just, oh, wow, I want to buy this card and spend $2 million. It's not the local logo man, which, can be considered kind of the same thing. Like you have that, you show it off, but this is a museum piece.
Right.
You know what I mean? Remember Buster was on, like talk about things you put in a museum and then get the museum to pay you for it. Like this is one of the things that rises to that level. And if I were a business, either in the hobby or hobby adjacent, this is something that, you could utilize. The fractional is just something I just thought of as we're talking now in the last 11 minutes, but I could probably come up with 6 or 7 other companies that could.
Right. And I'm thinking this would be a draw, for example. Like, remember you went to the Top store at one point? We did an episode right from the Top store, and they had like a cool promotion. Yeah. I'm sure collectible or fractional and Tops could strike a deal where there's a display in the store. The issue, I think, for a lot of these companies becomes liability, right? And theft and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you have insurance.
You've had a lot of amazing ideas. We've talked to tons of these companies behind the scenes. Why do you think that they don't implement some of the ideas you have?
Well, let's pump the brakes on it, because you have come up with some ideas, and you also threw out a thing a couple weeks ago of we need more this, more that. And what I said was hobby collaboration, just throwing it out there. Like we need more companies working together. Have we ever seen more hobby collaboration? I mean, Art, Rosemary, and Thyme are going on down in Miami now. And whatever spice it is, Art Basil. That's what it is. Basil is going on in
Basil.
Yeah, Basil Rathbone. Basil. Was it like a random English guy with bad teeth? Basil. Was this a whodunit with Sherlock Holmes? Basil. Anyway,
remember the movie The Great Mouse Detective on Disney? That was a good one.
Yeah, it was a good
Basil
one.
Is in that.
Basil, exactly. He's British. So it sounds like a butler. Like when you hit it big, finally, when one of these companies says yes to the pitch deck you're throwing out there, you can have a butler named Basil. Well, that's Basil. He'll get the door for me. Well, my name is Andrew Goldberg. I don't answer my own door. I once punched a magician.
Yeah, where did that come from?
You heard me correctly. I'm good with making videos. Guys, check my story out. There's a funny one on there about Andrew, and I'll try to do more funny ones.
So you think this goes over $3 million?
Yes, I do.
That's crazy. I thought this wouldn't. I mean, it's already.
And I did not get paid by Ken or Dave Ammerman or any of the great guys there to say that. I do, just because I think it's got goodwill and business value worth more than that. I do. So, and that doesn't mean that I'm saying that this is a $3 million valued collectible. Like to you or me, I think there are better ways for us to spend our $3 million. Let's make sure that's clear, right? I don't think as a standalone collectible item that it has a $3 million value. I think it does. Certain things have different values to different companies. So
I want to ask you something. So the World Cup has really given me an escape, but I still tune into social media.
We're going to talk about Art Basil. And so we were talking about the collaborations and how collectibles there with eBay now and Beckett and.
Well, I'm going tomorrow night, so I'll have more to speak about when I actually go. I don't know what it's going to be like.
So one of the things you talked about was the partnerships. You want to talk about soccer, and then we could talk about like the SGC, PWCC. Sure. I wanted to like flow into hobby collaborations there. I was in my flow. But go ahead, let's talk soccer.
Well, I wasn't actually about soccer. It was going to be soccer is giving me an escape, but I was going to ask you: has the world always been this crazy? Like, just the media cycles that happen on a daily basis of like, he said, she said this. Now the FTX guy is apparently the nicest guy in the world who messed up. Alt is reneging on like a $30 credit. Like, has it always been this crazy in
I mean,
terms?
Lior owes you $1 for putting him in the same category as FTX. I mean, alt FTX, is that like above the fold and below the fold in the Financial Times? One's an actual news story. The other one is only relevant to us hobby idiots.
One is a news story because of the money associated. There's not that much money in the hobby, so it's not a news story. But this is 2, 3, or 4 times this company screwed up.
I mean,
they had the data breach. I don't know if you consider buying cards off of eBay using investor money and then relisting them on liquid auctions as an issue. I mean, it's kind of shady, but not wrong, I guess. But reneging on a marketing initiative is certainly bear like.
I mean, let's cut it both ways, right? They put a survey. So, from my understanding, and I did not participate in this. I don't know. From my understanding, they put a survey out there and they sent it to people, or they opened it to people. I don't know whether it was an invitation or whether it was just open to anybody who could fill it out. But they put a survey out there and then offered anyone who filled out the survey $30
in all credit.
In alt credit. So now, and I think the message that I read, translated, paraphrased, please go and read it yourselves, guys, is that they had so many people respond to it that people are not qualifying for the $30. That the response to it was so great, so many people responded that they can't actually pay the $30 to some of them.
But you know how many people you send this to in the beginning.
Well, that's why I first said I don't know whether or not this was like open to anyone. And could I, like, if I got it, could I forward it to you to fill out, and you would try to get the $30 to fill it out too, or was it invitation only? I don't know the answer to that, so I don't want to, cast an aspersion.
It's so simple to like do that. Like the link could only work once, right? Like you do it. So if someone forwards it, link is
I'm not defending them. I'm just saying I don't know whether or not this was something that was limited in any way. I think from an alt perspective, it's clearly bad. I mean, they should be spinning it and saying, look, look how many people are interested in alt.
Right.
So many, so that we didn't even plan this to have this kind of money. We're now going to take care of people, who were not sent the invitation directly, but it was forwarded to them. Those people were not supposed to get the $30 because they weren't actually, a direct recipient of this. They weren't in our original plans, but those people, we're going to try to take care of them anyway, make sure they have an account, blah, blah, blah. And we'll give them $10 or $15 or $20, or the hell with it. We'll give them the full 30 because it's PR. This is like a good PR moment.
And it's all credit that's going to be spent on the site anyway.
Yeah, but still, I mean, let's say it's 10,000 people, $30. I mean, you're talking about like $300,000. That's a lot of money.
Is that the number you think that signed up did the survey?
I don't know.
I guarantee it's 500. It's I'll say it's less than 1,000. Probably 500 is how many completed it.
Do you think 500 total, and that they are saying that $15,000 is too much money to pay out?
Yeah, for sure. That's where
I'd be very surprised by that, because it's not worth the PR hit that you have to know is coming.
10,000 people fill out a survey, Cage. In this day and age, I would be surprised.
You offer somebody something for free, people come out of the woodwork, especially if you don't limit it.
I have this email. I never filled it out.
You should have sent it to me. I would have filled it out.
Would you? You wouldn't have bought anything. You don't buy $30 cards.
Yeah, but $30. I mean, I could see if I can give it away. I got a Paul Goldschmidt, Chrome in the mail today. It's worth $20 to somebody. Maybe I'll give it away to somebody. Hey now, let's go.
So what's top of mind?
I would think alt should fix this. It's a very easy fix. You know what I mean? This is one that it's not a good look, and they can very easily explain it the way that we just did. Right? They could come out and be like, listen, the response to this was much more than we thought it was going to be. We thought we were just going to get responses back from people we sent the email to. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. People forwarded the email to more people, and the response was more than we expected. That response, those people who responded, who didn't get the email, they were not supposed to get the $30, but we're going to take care of them XYZ anyway. Like, it's an easy fix. And you know what? This is what happens. We do a daily show. Like, this is a few hours old, right? This news story is like from yesterday, like last night. So, alt probably hasn't had a chance to kind of put their PR out on it. and get in front of it. But this happens to everybody, man. That you ran a cafe. Did no one ever complain about what you guys were doing there? Did you not, at some point try to, make the peanut butter smoothie with like a more generic peanut butter, and then people were like, shit, this does not taste the same, and then you had to basically you had to fall on your sword. You had to be like, guys, we're sorry, please come back, we'll have last week's peanut butter. That happens, right?
Yeah.
So I think the lesson to learn from Andrew here, whether
who are the leaders, who are the spokespeople, who does the buck stop with, right? Who speaks up and is like, yo, we messed up, here's how we're going to fix it. It seems like a lot of times the companies are maybe run by
sometimes that's all the hobby needs, by the way.
Is someone
a face who's going to say, we probably could have handled this one better, we're going to fix it. Not that hard.
It's not that hard, and I'm in an interesting stage of kind of observation of watching Elon take over Twitter is a fascinating case study, not because I'm particularly interested in Twitter or the social media landscape, but just watching how a typically faceless company now has a face to it who answers people's questions and deals with the positive, negative discourse in the thread, and how it's actually not that big of a deal at all. It's just conversations like we would have every single day. And I think something can be learned whether you agree with what Elon does or disagree with what Elon does. Watching this takeover play out is really interesting, I think.
I think it's amazing. I think it's fun to watch. And you're right. Sometimes a little bit of discourse goes a long way. I think I would just one caveat, one cautionary thing would be, for anybody out there, looking to take their cues in how to, operate their lives, their business, you name it, from folks out there. Billionaires, they usually are able to operate with a little more impunity than common folk are. Elon rubs somebody the wrong way. He's like, all right, well, okay, I could lose 10,000 people today. Whoopi Goldberg can leave the platform. Jim Carrey can leave the platform. Guess what? You were only following one person anyway, so you really weren't adding anything. These people can leave, and it's no skin off of Elon Musk's ass because he's still going to go home, go to sleep on a pile of billions of dollars. So a lot of other companies.
But Cage, what about the chicken or the egg? Maybe it's
both.
Maybe the way you become successful and wealthy is by doing that, is by having values and principles, making them known and standing by them.
It's possible. I think,
and I think it's unfair to say something like that. Alt, for example, Alt received a lot of money, so it's not like they're a company that's bootstrapped and struggling.
So one of the things I try to do, especially when it comes to hobby companies, is I don't want to be in somebody else's pocket. I think that these hobby entities should operate the right way, whether they are, a company that got $100 million of funding, or they're a company like us that never got a dollar from anybody.
Well, when you go and get funding, you instantly open up your pockets for everyone else to see. If you don't want people looking in your pockets, don't raise funding.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is we shouldn't figure out what they should or shouldn't be doing as a hobby participant. What the right thing to do shouldn't depend on how much cash they have in their pocket is all I'm saying. The right thing's the right thing.
I agree. I agree with that.
So... But you're right. They can make them. If they do something wrong, it's a lot easier for them to fix it because of what's in their pocket. I understand what you're saying as well, and you're correct. 100%.
So anyway,
speaking of money in the pocket, whoever you went to for your haircut today, you got to go back to. This is a good one. This is a good look. They blended it a little bit on the sides there. They didn't just go straight up with it. They took their time and actually blended it on the sides, and it's got a good line. Plus, you're definitely looking a little more trim. There was a minute there where I thought that I was going to actually pass you and wait. I thought you were going to go higher than me, and we were going to have one of those little flippy flops. But you could tell, man, you're looking more chiseled. Okay, you're looking good.
Well, some of these people will see me in the flesh. I hope a lot of people are going to the Philly show. We've got. I've probably got at least 10 DMs of people that are going to be in the area that are going to stop by. It's going to be super interesting. And
should I wear a Jalen Hurts jersey?
Definitely. Dude, the Philly fans are amazing. I'm asking you guys, anyone who's driving to Philly, what's your plan for the USA game? Are you going to be, because the show starts at 10 a.m. The USA game starts at 10 a.m. There's a sports book right.
9.
What?
I think the show starts at 9.
Okay, sure. Starts at 9. Game starts at 10. There's a sports book literally like a mile down the road. Are you going to watch it at the show, or are you going to go to the sports book to watch it? I'm flying in because I booked my flight like 2 weeks ago. I'm flying in at 9:46.
Nice.
Not nice. Really close call. So I'm gonna ask a friend to pick me up. I don't remember where I was going with that.
You want to know whether or not there's going to be a way to watch the game at the show, and we're still inquiring about that, and we'll figure it out. I have my old Sony Watchman from the '80s. It's black and white. It's got an antenna that comes out of it. Cool TV. I'll see if I can get network television on it. I haven't turned it on in 3 decades, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll bring it for you.
Oh, my hair. Mauricio, a Brazilian guy, but he speaks Portuguese. Cut my hair.
I mean, 2 teams that are in the 16, so he's got 2 ways to root for a winner in the World Cup. That guy.
Did you watch the games today?
I watched the Croatia tie. Was surprised by how little offense Croatia played. I know that they just needed a tie to advance, but playing for a tie, if they would have lost 1-0, they would have been eliminated. You know what I mean? So at any moment there, and they probably should have lost. I mean, Lukaku played like Lukaku over there. I mean, I feel bad for the dude. I mean,
I feel bad for the dude too, and I really don't like him as a player.
A couple of those were not on him. I mean, he was standing behind the defender who just completely whiffed on a header, and the ball hit Lukaku like in the belly. Like he wasn't expecting that to happen.
But that's what a striker needs to expect. Can I tell you what my pet peeve is? This is probably my biggest pet peeve.
By the way, this is pet peeve number 869.
Yeah. How do I word this? As a coach, you should have to be from the same nationality as the team. Like, I don't know if you saw, so Thierry Henry is the assistant coach for the Belgian squad. Mm-hmm. Thierry Henry played for France.
Yeah, so?
I don't understand it. To me, it makes no sense. I think the coach should have to be from the country that they're representing.
Why? What if the most talented coach out there who would give your team and your country the best chance to perform is not from your country?
So that used to happen. This guy, Sven-Goran Eriksson, coached South Africa, and Sven-Goran Eriksson was like a Swedish guy. He changed that whole Ivory Coast team.
Is this going to be for every sport? I mean, what about countries that don't have
coaches?
Coaches or people who have done it. I mean, like the Jamaican bobsled team.
Cool,
I mean? Where were they going to find a coach? Man. In your rules, they would not have been able to have a coach because they were the first ones to do it. Irv Blitzen.
F kill marry. Okay. F Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix.
Disney Plus and Hulu are on the same package for me because they're both owned by Disney now. So I pay for them all in one little bundle. I get ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu all in one.
So Netflix is gone.
But Netflix is good though. Netflix is good stuff. So I gotta kill one. I think I'm gonna kill Hulu. Just because I don't even know what the hell's on Hulu. I just got it because it was part of the package.
Marry Disney.
Disney Plus, Disney's the marrying type. You know what I mean? That's what you do, right? The kids love it, So
it's so good. It's so good, man. There's so much good stuff.
On the coach stuff, right? I mean, you take it outside soccer, right? Like some of the best American gymnastic coaches that we've had that have led us to gold medals for our women's team have been former Russian, gymnastic coaches, Oh,
no, sorry.
But you understand what I mean. Like sometimes the most talented people are from another country, and you shouldn't be limited in who coaches you unless you think that like someone's going to throw it. I mean that's not going to happen.
So we used to have this argument in our locker room, the soccer team, and it was divided. Some people were like, "What do you care, Andrew?" Other people were like, "Yeah." What do you guys think in the comments? Should the coach of France be French? Should the coach of Belgium be Belgian? Be Belgian? Yeah.
Yeah. Belgian. Like that. Should he be Belgian?
All right. Any final topics before we go watch the second?
Well, I mean, listen. What do you? Let's talk about the hobby collaborations for a second, right? I mean, you have SGC and PWCC announcing a collaboration today. $20 for a 10-day turnaround. You send your cards raw to PWCC, or you already have raw cards in the vault. Just click a button in the vault. You send it over to SGC. And they are going to slab a card up for you $20, 10-day turnaround. If our experience with them is any kind of an indication, it's probably going to be more like 5 days.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that from a specific level, like a low level, and then a larger, like more broad hobby level? I like the collaborations, man. I do.
Okay, good. I'm cautiously optimistic is where I'll I'll make an official statement on that. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, listen. At the same time that was announced today, I got an email because I'm still a PSA Collectors Club member. That in addition to their $15 special for 1996 and later, your modern card segment at $15 that they extended, they have a December special, a holiday special now, $15 for non-sports. So your Pokemon and your Marvel cards and that kind of stuff in there as well. So they kind of countered and dropped them down to 15. So, I mean, listen, I think the PWCC option is great because people have raw cards sent to the vault all the time, and now you have the ability to boom, send it over to SGC, get it graded. You don't have to sell it. The former machinations there where if you got it graded, it went right to their auction. You don't have to. It can stay in your vault or it can be auctioned. So that's good. It provides another option. Same day, we also got an announcement today that Whatnot, who we also have a partnership with, is working with PSA to certain breakers are going straight from the break to grade with PSA. It's another thing, we can reserve comment on, to see it actually working. Who are the breakers they do it? What are the breakers' responsibility as far as actually examining the card for somebody? Because, before I send the card to PSA, I like to take a look at it. You know what I mean?
There's three components.
Shoot.
This is the components I would look at. And I'll explain how I judge this stuff. So there's the tech.
Mm-hmm.
Click a button and send your card to get subbed. PWCC and Whatnot, in my opinion, are technology companies first.
Yep.
So this is technology implementation. Add a button. With this button, I click it and it sends the card to PSA. Amazing. Then we have the grading company, service oriented, right? Okay. SGC, they'll turn the cards around in 10 days or less. No questions about it. So you have the tech, the service, then you have the secondary market. Those are the three components. And here's how I go about it, Cage. As much as I think people care and listen to my opinion and yours, I like to wait on these things and see the comments and the emails I get from our customers or our listeners, because they're the ones that will tell us how it is. Not me opinionating here. It's, hey, I used X service and here's what happened. Here's what was good. Here's what was bad. Yep. And we really have an awesome audience. I don't know if you guys saw some of the stories and, the Spotify Wrapped, it's amazing. You guys are truly an amazing community. You support us. You listen on a daily basis. You comment, you engage, you give really thoughtful feedback. So I trust our community to say what's working and what's not. So I like to give this stuff a little bit of time to play out and then come back on the mic and say, here's what Nancy thought. Here's what Mike thought. Here's what Sam thought, and go from there.
Love it. I may even go a step further and try to do some myself. You know what I mean? Send some stuff to PWCC, grade with SGC, break on Whatnot, try to grade stuff, take advantage of these. I'll probably be buying some Bowman Chrome through my LCS and grading that with SGC for $9. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on out there that works. One last thing, and I know you want to watch soccer. Let me throw it out there. It's an appreciation flowers for Andrew. And let me go here for 2 minutes, and you guys will, it's one of the cageisms. Guys, if you watch us for 869 episodes, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, right? Ideas don't just materialize into action. Ideas are just ideas until somebody actually makes them work and puts in the sweat equity and the work to get them done. This, what you're looking at across from me here, is the sweat equity and the work that gets this stuff done. And I thought about that today. Thank you for doing all of it, because I am the idea person. This. We have a million, meetings with a million people and all these companies. And I give, here's an idea. Hey, by the way, I got an idea for Fanatics, and here's this whole, and they were great ideas. And I was thinking about it today because it was over 2 years ago. It was November actually of 2020, where we had meetings with StarStock, where I told them that they should be vaulting cards and have a button to click to send their cards from their vault directly to SGC, PSA, Beckett, and whoever they partner with, and not just vaulting and storing the cards, but while they're doing breaks, while they have cards on the platform, people should be able to break on their platform and immediately send those cards by clicking a button on the platform too. So we're seeing 2 years later, those ideas being implemented. It's not enough to just have the idea. It's not enough to just have a voice and say something. There's other things that go into it. Like you talked about, PWCC and Whatnot are able to do this because maybe their tech platforms first. Maybe they've built out the tech over time, spent the money, invested in the tech to make those ideas actually happen. So anyway, it just got me thinking that just having the thought about, hey, this is the way it should be done. We have a lot of great comments in our YouTube. Hey, this should be done. I have a lot of great ideas too, but I don't have a tech platform to make them work. I don't have the customer base. I don't have all the stuff. An idea is that it's just an idea until the work, the money, the investment, the tech, and all that other fun stuff gets put in to make that idea a reality. And I had that thought process today because literally these were ideas we were giving companies 2 years ago. And same thing, this podcast. I got ideas. I can talk. You are the tech. You are the engine that makes it go. So thank you.
So thank you. I think a lot about this. So I think a lot about what makes. So I used to say we're a family, but I'm going to amend that because I don't think we're a family. I think we're a team. And I think, like, I love reading John Wooden. Like, what makes teams work, right? Like, and one of our first values is imagine what can be accomplished if you don't worry about who takes the credit, right?
Yep.
And think about that. You like, who gets the shot? Is it Curry or is it Clay? It's not Draymond, right?
Whoever's going to let it get in. Whoever's going to get the shot. Whoever's going to make the shot.
But Clay does. I mean, Dre does the dirty work, right?
Yep.
And the point is, it's beautiful. I think it's poetry when you see a team that complements each other's skill sets. So just right back at you. I think you've been really generous with your knowledge and your information. You and I personally have stayed on the phone for hours where I've learned the hobby from you. But also our partners. Like our partners, these are people that don't pay us money, that were like, hey, here's an idea that we just thought about. This could help your business. Let's write them an email and send it off. Right. And
yes, we're looking at you, fanatics. We did just send you an email with a great idea.
They responded and they said, we're going to circulate this internally. This is a great idea. But the point is, like, I think you're very selfless with your time and your ideas, even if they're not always resulting in some kind of financial benefit immediately.
Hell yeah. Let's hope there's a financial benefit at the end. I'm just playing. Guys, sure. I promised you guys with the Spotify stories, I got a whole bunch of cigars, Lucas Tiger cigars going out to our top listeners, our guys on Spotify. I don't know, guys, I'm an idiot because I don't mean to, to put you Apple guys in the corner. I mean, it's so funny. We have so many Spotify people posting up what's it called? Wrap around, something, reach around. It's something, right?
Reach around.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's, I couldn't believe that's 12% of our audience. So 80% is on Apple, and you guys don't get to, display that you're our number one, we're your number one stuff too. It kind of knocked me down a little bit yesterday that there's that many people, and that many people is just 12% of the folks, and that's just the audio. It's not even YouTube. So I apologize for just putting it out there and saying, hey, post that you're number one. So many people message me. I guarantee that you're my number one podcast. I just don't have the picture to show it, which is amazing. Thank you for that. Some people got some Panini digital yesterday, some fun.
I got a few messages from people who own Tigers that are like, hey, what's going on with the free submissions? And I was like, where were you for the entire year of 2022?
Send them tell them the message. No, I'll take care of them.
Let me give you guys an update. We will have something for you guys for 2023. Incentives, let's call them that.
Of course.
We just don't have anything locked in. And as soon as we do have some stuff locked in, we'll let you guys know.
We're the NFT that won't go away. As long as we're doing one of these every day, the NFT will have benefits for you guys.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.